As I told you guys before, I always have the best guests on my program, and today I have a very mysterious figure on my show. I'm here with the one and only Drew Moss. And if you don't know, Drew Moss is an established comic book artist. I'm sure he's been working in the industry for many, many moons. And right now, he's working on one of the greatest, not comic book, but anime properties in America. I'm talking about the Thundercats. But before we get into the Thundercats conversation, I just want you to know that, guys, during this interview, we're going to have a very unbiased opinion. And the only thing we're going to do is just try to ask questions from the heart, and Drew will speak from his heart too. I just want to say, Drew, thank you so much for being here and spending time with us at New York Comic Con. And thank you for taking on the responsibility of drawing Thundercats. But before we go on to that, I just want to know, how did you start your love affair with comics?
My love affair with comics, my love affair with comics, it probably started when I was young, when I was living with my grandparents. I used to be into the Spider-Man 1969 TV show and reruns, and I would tell my grandfather every day that what happened on the show. And every day he'd ask me, he'd go, "Hey, don't forget to watch the show again. I need to know what happens." So 1990, when I was 15 years old, my grandfather passed away from a brain tumor. And for some reason, I promised him I would do Spider-Man professionally for him before he died. So that's why I have this tattoo. It's also why I pursued my love of comics. So.
Okay, guys, well, I'm sure he worked on Spider-Man professionally. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes and the cake of the conversation, Thundercats. And I spoke to Drew before we started the interview, and he received a fair share of hate mail. But let me explain something to you guys when it comes to this Thundercat business. Drew is just a soldier following orders. He's not the one that has creative control over the property. But he's going to do his best for us so that we can all enjoy Lionel, Panther, and Chitara, and the Wily and the Thunder Kittens in the comic book format. So, Drew, how did you get hired for the Thundercats comic book?
I got hired. I was doing a comic book called Gargoyles Dark Ages. From the property Gargoyles. They asked me for, my editor called me and asked me if I had ever drawn Thundercats before. And I said, well, of course I have. But apparently I hadn't. So he's like, well, don't worry about it. And I was like, why? And he's like, don't worry, I can't say anything. So I spent the weekend and drew a bunch of Thundercats, and I just kept sending them to him. He never replied. And then on Monday, he goes, I can officially offer you the job of Thundercats. They said you were just so, what did they say? They said you were just so enthusiastic. They couldn't say no. So Thundercats is actually important to me as a child because I was living with another family when that show was out, away from my parents. And it was one of the only things in my life that was constant. Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Silverhawks, and Transformers. They all came on in a row. And every day after school I would watch it. So, it was really a big deal that I got the book.
That's cool. I'm sorry. That's cool, man. That's good to hear, man. Thundercats was a great show for me too. I grew up watching it. I had the pleasure of interviewing Lionel, Chitara, and Tiger on my show, respectively known as Larry Kenny, Lynn Lipton, and Peter Newman. And here's the thing, guys. Drew just told you what the deal was. He's not trying to mess with the property. He's not trying to screw it up for everyone. He doesn't have that say-so what really should go on in the Thundercats comic book. So please refrain from sending him hate mail. Yeah, but guys, stop sending him hate mail. He doesn't deserve it. He's just a soldier in the war. That's all he is. He's not the captain or the general. He's just following orders. So here's the thing that drove me crazy. Like, I like the covers you guys do, but the problem is this. You guys should have reached out to at least one of the animators from the show and have him draw a cover.
That's above my pay grade. I even had trouble getting a cover. I didn't do a cover till issue 3 or 4. Those people, the people they choose to do covers, not for the first issue. There's a lot of incentive covers the first issue. But after that, like, there's people that they hire. I have no control of that. I could suggest that, but I mean, honestly,
It's out of your control.
yeah, it's out of my control. I don't know if it'd be monetarily beneficial to people. Like, not necessarily everybody who likes the show buys the comic. And I don't know if that, like, they'd really have to push that point that he's original animator. Because unless that person continued into comics, I don't know. But see, like I said, I'm just speculating on whatever. Nothing I say means anything.
See, as I told you guys before, he's just a soldier, just following orders. Drew, thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you for being here. And we do appreciate, us old fans appreciate what you did, what you can with the comic, you know? And you really...
I'm really trying to keep everything grounded in the OG stuff. Even though we're telling different stories, that's why the designs, although some of them are different, they're still grounded in the original.
Amen to that. And I'm sure Larry, Lynn, and Peter are appreciative. Oh, I know. I talk to Larry from time to time online. Drew, thank you for your time, man. Keep kicking ass. And you got to remember the code of Thundera. Justice, truth, honor, and loyalty. Ho!